Hi guys, welcome back to Scott Finley Homestead. I'm Christine and today we are going to do some water bath canning. It is strawberry picking season here in northern Wisconsin and I'm going to give you a little rundown of basic water bath canning. This is the easiest place to start. We're going to use fruit, sugar, and pectin. Whatever type of pectin you use, it comes with directions on the box. It's going to teach you how to water bath can and I'm going to show you the basics of it here today. This is the time of the year where I start getting loads of questions about canning and where to get started. And so I want to help you get started because everybody could always use a little bit more room in their freezer. And right now with the prices of things, you're going to want to start preserving your food. We're going to start with the basic strawberry jam today. I'm going to do a low sugar version. You can use whatever version of pectin you want. Some of them require a little bit more sugar. I'm going to use this Pomona's pectin. I've just started using this year and I really love it. I think it makes a really great quality jam and I highly recommend. I will link it along with all of my canning equipment and things that you need to get started. Honestly, it's very minimal. We're going to make some beautiful strawberry jam and you're not going to want to miss out. So let's go. First thing you are going to need to water bath can is a nice big pot. You can buy one like this that's specifically made for water bath canning, or you can use a large stock pot. The important part is that you have a lid and that you have a rack or something that's going to keep your jars off of the bottom. You're going to need mason jars. For jams, I like to use these wide mouth jars just because the kids have an easier time getting every last bit out of there. You're going to need pectin. Like I said, we're going to use this Pomona's pectin. Gives you the option to double or triple or quadruple your batches. The Pomona's pectin also gives you the option of using maple syrup or honey or alternative sugars rather than the standard refined white sugar. She just wants to play pots and pans. I'm going to get this girl settled with some strawberries while we start doing stuff that involves heat. I can't believe you guys are turning up your noses at strawberry tops. That's more like it. We are making a cooked jam, which means it's going to be going into our jars hot. So we want our jars to be hot when we put the jam into it. We can also warm up our water bath canner at the same time by adding some water to this, putting our empty jars in there to get them warmed up, and letting both the canner and the jars warm. So I'm going to go ahead and add some water to this, put the jars in here, and put it on the stove. Pomona's pectin is a two-part pectin. You're going to take your mashed fruit and you're going to add the calcium water to it. We're doubling our recipe, so we're going to use 4 teaspoons with our 8 cups of mashed fruit and put this on the stove. I'm going to do 1 cup of sugar per batch, so a total of 2 cups of sugar. We're going to put that into a separate bowl and then we're going to add the powdered portion of the pectin, also using 4 teaspoons for our double batch. I've got my sugar here. I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of the pectin and mix it in well. I can hear our strawberries are starting to boil. We're going to add this sugar and pectin mixture in with our berries once it's fully boiling, and we're going to stir it for 1 to 2 minutes and then take it off of the heat. I bought these silicone mats for canning, so I'm hoping that this will wash up a little bit easier than if I were to use a towel down here. So that'll protect the counter. I'm going to grab my jars out of the water bath canner because they are warm now. We're going to go ahead and fill these jars to a 1/4 inch of headspace, so very close to the top. This recipe says it'll make between 4 and 5 cups per batch, so I was expecting between 8 and 10, and we ended up with 5 2-cup jars. So that is just about perfect. And a little bit extra for taste testing. If you end up with a little bit of extra jam and you can only fill a part of a jar or half of a jar, you're going to want to put that into your refrigerator. You can't can a jar that's not at the proper headspace, so always make sure that you are following your recipe for that. Your recipe may vary on the amount of time that you're canning it for and what the headspace is. All of that will be listed in whatever recipe you are using. But there's a few things that you do every time you're water bath canning. And that general process is what I'm going to talk about now. So we've got our jars filled. This came with my canning kit. It's a special kind of spatula that helps get the bubbles out. And so you're going to put this all around the edges and allow all of the bubbles to escape. You're mostly trying to get the larger pieces of fruit to move around so that if there's any air trapped underneath it, that comes out. And then after you're done with this, you're going to check your headspace again and make sure that you didn't lose enough air to change the headspace. Now, even with the funnel and then also with getting the air out like this, you're going to end up with a little bit of mess on the rims. Your canning lid is not going to seal properly if there's too much on the rims. So the next process here is to take a rag that is slightly wet and wipe your rims. These are all nice and clean on the edges. I'm hoping these work. These were hand-me-downs from somebody. They're brand new. They've never been used, but just an older lid. So we're gonna give these a try. They're in good condition. So we're gonna set that right on there centered. You're going to put your rings on there and go finger tight with them. Your water bath canner needs to be at a rolling boil for your timer to start. So if your canner isn't at a full rolling boil at this point, you can still put your fruit in there if you would like. Or if it is at a rolling boil and after you add your jars, it kind of slows down a bit, you're going to want to wait until it's back up to that rolling boil to start your timer. This recipe calls for 10 minutes in the water bath canner. But with canning, everything is going to be dependent on your altitude. So you're going to add 1 minute per 1,000 feet of altitude. You need the water above your jars by about 1 inch. So at this point, if you need to add a little bit of water to get it to that point, you can do it now. And again, wait until it is back up to a rolling boil before you start your timer. Here we are right at about 1,500 feet for our elevation. So I'm going to do this for 11 minutes. Once it hits its rolling boil, I did have to add a little bit of water. I can see this is already starting to set up. Ooh, that is really, really good. The kids are gonna love it. My timer just beeped, so I turned the heat off. I'm gonna take the lid off and let this sit for just a few minutes before I pull it out. With any type of glass, you just don't want major temperature changes really quickly, or you risk breaking the glass. So you wanna kind of slowly change the temperature of this. So let's open this up. Let it cool down a little bit, and then we'll pull it out and put it on our mat. I just pulled these out maybe 30 seconds ago, and each one of them has already popped. So it might take yours a little bit longer, and that is okay, but you do want that lid to pop down. We're gonna let them sit here for 24 hours and make sure that the lid stays down and that it is nicely sealed. You're gonna take the rings off for when you store them in your pantry so you don't create a false seal. If for some reason one doesn't seal after you pull them out of the water bath canner within that 24-hour period, you're going to want to put that into your fridge. Use it up in the next few weeks and you're good to go. If you have a problem with the way that you canned it and none of them seal, there are ways to reprocess, but your other option is just to throw it in the fridge or the freezer. I'm really happy that these are all sealed. I don't recommend using lids this old. You probably want to buy brand new ones, but I looked inside of this box and there's a coupon in there and it expired in 1988. I'm going to let them sit here on the counter overnight and put them into the pantry tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm so happy that you are here. Make sure you are subscribed and I would love to see you back for the next one. Bye guys.